nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Beagle,
Present?
Deputy Mayor Resnick,
Present.
Councilmember Behrman,
Present.
Councilmember Gotcho.
Here.
Councilmember Grunland Fox is excused. Councilmember O'Day. Here. Councilmember Sharp.
Present.
We have quorum.
Very good. Changes or additions to the agenda as presented tonight. Assistant City Manager Benson.
I have none, sir.
Any from the dais? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. We have no presentation tonight, so it moves on to the first order of business tonight, and that's the approval of minutes. We've got one set of minutes to approve tonight. That's from the regular City Council meeting from June 10th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Seeing none, I got a motion and a second to approve the regular City Council meeting minutes of June 10th, 2025. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Correspondence, we have no correspondence tonight. City Managers Report, departmental reports. Any questions for anybody? All right, good. Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda will be considered routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the items will be removed from the consent agenda and added to the regular agenda at the end of unfinished or new business. Do I have a motion?
Support.
I got a motion and support to approve the consent agenda as presented tonight. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Call to the public. I'll read the rules of call to the public. The public shall address the council during the call to the public, which shall be included on the agenda immediately after correspondence, and again immediately after new business. The first call to the public immediately after correspondence shall be limited to agenda items only. A person shall not address the council in excess of 5 minutes unless the time is extended by a majority vote of the council present. Persons wishing to address the council shall identify themselves and their place of residence and shall state their reason for addressing the council, and all comments by the public shall be made directly to the council. Do we have anybody for the first call to the public? Seeing none, we'll move on. We have no unfinished business tonight, so the first item of new business is a recommendation to approve sponsoring 2 applicants through the Oakland Police Academy with $69,721, charged as follows: $34,717 to Desk Aids account number 101-301-703.377, $16,304 to Cadet Fringe Benefits account number 101-301-711.110, $7,000 to Uniforms account number 101-301-956.372, and $11,700 to Training of Police account number 101-301-955.200. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support. Chief Langmeyer?
Good evening.
Good evening.
What you have before you tonight, currently the police department is down 1 officer. We had 1 resignation effective June 16th, so that officer is no longer on our roll. And in next year's budget, we've been approved for another, to add another traffic officer. So what we're asking for now is to start getting 2 of our PSAs set up to go to the academy. The academy starts in August. We're in the middle of a promotional process for those people right now. We had 3 applicants for it. All 3 are solid individuals that we would support going to the academy. We'll finish the promotional process here probably this week or early next week, get their backgrounds done, and then make the selection process. But we wanted to get approval from the council so that we can move forward. Our anticipation is that we will receive a grant from MPOS from the state of Michigan. Their aviation department is sponsoring recruits to the academy, $20,000 grant per applicant. So we're anticipating a $40,000 grant from MPOS to help cover the costs.
Very good. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Resnick.
Thank you. Chief, the question on the attrition that we have or had on June 16th, was that a former service aide that went through the academy as well?
No.
Okay. I was just curious, if we have a service aide that we fund partially, I know partial grant, partial city money, is there any clawback feature if they book within 6 months or a year?
Actually, yes. Our initial job offer that we offer these recruits when they start, actually 4 years. We can claw back 25% of the cost for us to send them back to the academy. Obviously, that would be not including grant funds.
Right.
But the grant doesn't cover some of the things that we have to buy for them. That's not covered things like uniforms, leather gear, fire, all the weapon systems, all of that stuff that they need for normal patrol that we have to purchase. That's not covered by the grants, and yes, we can get that back. It's a standard 4-year thing now.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Councilmember Behrman?
I guess my only question is, I know you indicated that resignation was something that you possibly saw coming during budget time. Do you see anything else within the next year that we should be planning ahead for now? Like you said, you had 3 applicants. Like, is one of those things that we should be moving forward with all 3, or?
At this time, I would not say move forward with all 3. One, I think, needs a little bit more seasoning, if you will. The other 2 are ready to go. Do we foresee any future openings or anything like that? Nothing that we see on the horizon until late next year. And then
So we'll have time.
we've got plenty of time to get this other PSA and a couple of new hires and see where they fall and hopefully be able to fill everything. This promotional process for our PSA is the best in the academy. We're down to 1 officer right now. No left. Everybody. We're only one. It really has a lot to do with our residents, supporting the police department, their support of the police departments, the community departments. I don't anticipate it.
Thank you.
Councilmember Sharp?
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Langmeyer, remind me, the academy, how long is that program? They're not going to be ready to backfill these folks in
Correct.
any time soon, I don't think.
No. The academy is about 4 months, 4.5 months long, but they won't be on the road until December sometime, and that's starting the FGO program. FGO program then is 4 to 5 months, no problems at all. So these 2 officers starting in August will not be on their own working until April, May.
Okay. So your plan, though, is to backfill the 2. You only have 2 spots available, 1 retirement or 1 resignation and 1 new position. Is your plan to backfill? I mean, not necessarily those exact people in the exact spots, but the open positions that you have. Are you planning to fill them with the academy candidates?
That's these 2.
So how do we support the police department for 8, 9 months with down 2 positions?
Well, what we've done right now is it's the 1 opening, the other one's a new one. So we're just not going to be able to fill that new spot until we have the body. The other one, what we've done is taken our trash officer and really put 2 hats on his head. He's working traffic, anything he calls for service, working on it. So our patrol level staffing is, we just lost that solo traffic guy out there just doing traffic. In the summertime, that's not ideal, but there's really.
Do you have enough overtime budget to support any of that? Do you need that, or?
We have some overtime, our overtime budget is fine, if we need to fill it, we can do that. This is all out of next year's fiscal year.
26. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Good. All right, thank you. Got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to approve sponsoring 2 applicants through the Oakland Police Academy with $69,721, charged as follows: $34,717 to Desk Aids account number 101-301-703.377, $16,304 to Cadet Fringe Benefits account number 101-301-711.000, no, 110, excuse me, $7,000 to uniforms account number 101-301-956.372, and $11,700 to training and police account number 101-301-955.200. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. New business number 2 is a recommendation to renew a professional service agreement for website maintenance, hosting and licensing services with Granicus of St. Paul, Minnesota for a 3-year term with a first-year cost of $10,708.25 with funding allocated from website support account number 101-228-728.284 and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Assistant City Manager Benson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, members of City Council. This is an item that you actually probably haven't seen in a while. Historically, our website maintenance agreement through Granicus has been under $10,000, so this is actually the first time since we first moved to Granicus in fiscal year 2019-2020 that you, I believe, have seen this again. We've been working with Granicus for a number of years. In fact, we actually just did a redesign of our website with them just last year. So this, in some sense, is a pretty standard renewal. I will say that their proposed rate increase is a little bit higher than we had anticipated and they have historically done. So this contract does propose 8% increases over each of the 3 years. In dollars and cents, that amounts to about $800 a year. You know, given the fact that we have just updated the website, and generally speaking, we've been very satisfied with the security of the website, the functionality on the back end, and the variety of tools that they provide to us, including our ability to do, you know, mass email notifications and those kinds of things. We've been very satisfied with them, and therefore we recommend authorizing this extension. I can answer any questions you may have.
Deputy Mayor Resnick.
Just one question. On the dynamic content, so that, you know, unexpected road closure or there's a new concert date or something like that, but is that someone from the city manager's office doing that, or Granicus actually does that under contract as well?
We do that.
We do that? So they
either the
train
city
us
man-
how to do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. They do provide like as needed support, so let's say we ran into some, you know, real big issue or some special functionality, they will provide kind of as needed support, but we can do all the basic, you know, things like that.
Right. Very good, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, I got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to renew a professional services agreement for website maintenance, hosting, and licensing services with Granicus of St. Paul, Minnesota for a 3-year term with a first-year cost of $10,708.25 with funding allocated from the website support account number 101-228-728.284 and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moves on to new business number 3, and that is a recommendation to authorize the city manager, as recommended by the Wage and Salary Committee, to implement wage and benefit adjustments for the non-union employees, including the city manager, city clerk, and assistant city manager, and director of economic development, and adopt the revised salary grade structure for non-union employees for fiscal year 2025-2026, effective July 1st, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. As stated in the package, the Wage and Salary Committee met on Tuesday, the 27th, prior to the City Council meeting. The topic was the potential wage, salary, benefit, and pay rate adjustments for non-union employees in fiscal year 2025-2026, and also a compensation package for the city manager and assistant city manager as requested in the packet. And we're asking for your support on this. Do we have any questions? Councilmember Gacho.
Thank you. I know it had been discussed in the past about how these recommendations would be like potential increases, but based on merit or performance. Have we shifted to that model, or is this just still a straight increase regardless of performance?
Go ahead, Drew.
So it's a mix. The last few years, the city manager's office has recommended both. So for some employees, it would be just kind of the base 3% this particular year. But for non-union employees, there will be recommendations for merit increases from time to time. So I believe last year we may have done 1 or 2. The year before, 2 or 3 situations. So it kind of is. It's a little more flexible. It depends on the scenarios.
What percentage, how many non-unions do we have? Not very many, right?
Including the library, we have 1, 2, 3,
We don't really, I mean,
Well, let's say.
library is under our purview, but it's not really something we deal with.
Let's call it 10, without counting.
11.
Well, one thing.
One's vacant.
Most of this room.
What, I mean, what amount of that is, of those 10 or 11, when it's not a vacant position, get merit versus just straight increase?
I would say over the last, I've been here 4 years, we've probably adjusted, or they have been adjusted, 8 of them, 7 or 8?
Adjusted off of
The regular
3%
schedule, correct.
because of a difference in merit? Okay.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Councilmember Behrman?
I'll just echo my comments from last year. I still believe, just like I said last year, the DPW director is in the wrong category. I think that they should be in grade 9, especially with his expertise in wastewater. I think that's a miscategorization that really should be addressed sooner than later.
All right. Very good. Any other questions? Councilmember Gatto?
Is that something we would be allowed to adjust now, or we don't, it can be brought back later?
It can be brought back. Wage and salary it can be brought back, and we can either do it retro or at a certain date, whatever.
Hey, well, and the grade placement doesn't necessarily change salary factors. You can do, one or both, but they're technically 2 different decisions depending on what you want to do.
Just, it adjusts the maximum for that.
Yeah, it would be relatively straightforward if wage and salary and/or the whole city council just wanted to change the grade. That doesn't change any salary figures by itself.
I
Councilmember Behrman?
I guess my only follow-up to that is this was something I thought I carved on pretty solidly last year, and it was disappointing to hear that wage and salary didn't discuss it. So I mean, maybe it's something we need to have a discussion out in the public, but I thought that it would have been discussed when, or at least you guys would have made a decision on it, and just disappointing that it wasn't discussed.
Wage and salary, I'll schedule a meeting with wage and salary to discuss it. Anybody, any other questions? All right, seeing none, I got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to authorize the city manager as recommended by the Wage and Salary Committee to implement wage and benefit adjustments for non-union employees, including the city manager, city clerk, and assistant city manager and director of economic development, and adopt the revised salary grade structure for non-union employees for fiscal year 2025-2026, effective July 1st, 2025. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries. Thank you. And new business number 4 is a recommendation to approve a year-end budget amendments and requests for commitments for fund balance to comply with the Uniform Budget Act 621 and Governmental Accounting Standards Board Pronouncement 54, and more accurately reflect fiscal year 2024-2025 revenues and expenditures. Do I have a motion?
Support.
Ms. Stamper,
Good evening.
good evening.
As we do every last meeting in June, is to request our final budget amendments, since this is the last meeting of the fiscal year that we are allowed to do any amendments to the budget. This is, like the motion says, to bring in line our revenues and expenditures to be more accurately reflected of what our activity actually was through the end of the fiscal year. The majority amendments are general fund for the most part, makes up the biggest part of them. And with the amendments to both revenue and expenditures, the result is a net increase of just over $277,000 to fund balance as a result of these. As I said, this is our final opportunity to make any amendments to the budget, and I'm open to any questions if anyone has any.
How can we beat the last meeting in June already? Just
I know.
seems- Any questions? No, seeing none. I got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to approve year-end budget amendments and request for commitments of fund balance to comply with the Uniform Budget Act 621 and Governmental Accounting Standards Board Pronouncement 54, and more accurately reflect fiscal year 2024-2025 revenues and expenditures. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Marilyn. That concludes the new business portion of the meeting tonight. It brings us to the second call to the public. I see no public in the meeting tonight, so I'll skip over that and move on to Assistant City Manager comments. Assistant City Manager Benson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple from the city manager update. Want to congratulate all of our employees, and we have many of them who are celebrating their work anniversaries in July, including Mr. Langmeyer, year 3, and Marilyn, last one, doing the Lord's work.
You sure you don't want to go to 30?
So congratulations to everyone included there. I also want to mention that we do have a posting out for the now vacant senior coordinator position. I believe you all have been notified of our current senior coordinator's resignation for another position. So we are working on backfilling that. Hopefully we'll have updates on that in July. Just a reminder about the Light the Night fireworks on Thursday, weather permitting. Should be a good night, and I think everyone's excited for it. Thanks to our Parks and Rec staff for getting that all together. I know it's a big one. And the last thing I'll say is just on behalf of myself, and I'm going to assume City Manager Brown, thank you for your consideration and the recommendation from the Wage and Salary Committee. I know we both very much appreciate working here and working with you all. So thank you all. And if there's anything else you need, let me know.
You got it. City Clerk, you got anything tonight?
Thank you as well.
All right, it moves us on to council comments. Let's go, Councilmember Behrman.
Thank you. 3 o'clock this afternoon, storm came through again, knocked out a bunch of trees in my neighborhood. By the time I got home from work, DPW was already in our neighborhood cleaning them up. So I think that's pretty impressive. I can't say that it would be the same in a lot of municipalities, and I'm sure it helped that they could actually get their equipment out of their yard this time compared to last year. But the only other thing I mention is I really think that a decision needs to be made sooner than later on the barn. If that was a private residence with tarps all over the roof and boarded up, we would be on that private residence. Our code enforcement would be on them. And I don't know if any of you had the chance to walk behind the barn lately, but it's covered in blue tarps. And so we either need to fix it or we need to remove it sooner than later. So hopefully some administration, whoever is going to take responsibility, whether that's Deanna or the DDA or over there, someone needs to make a decision and bring something to us to fix it.
Good.
That,
Very good. Councilmember Gatcho. Thank you.
Music to my ears, I've been saying that for approximately 8.5 years, so it is our decision, I would say. I think we just need to get a bid to tear it down, but most people have been unwilling to say enough's enough, and we've allocated money to study what to do with it, and there's no bids to study what to do with it, which is a pretty good indication of what to do with it, at least in my book. Wanted to thank, even though, Deanna is here. Thank you to Deanna and your staff and DPW setting up the tent, everybody on the city staff that helped with the city employee and volunteer picnic. That's always a very nice time to get everybody in one place and kind of recognize, and Crystal to win a bunch of things as she steals tickets from other people. And and I demand that is verbatim in the record. No. Thank you.
We said you must be present to win, but we didn't say how many tickets you gave, so. Councilmember O'Day?
Congratulating everyone on their work anniversaries, obviously. We have some big ones in there this time around, or a lot of them as well. And also, again, just to echo the other comments of how nice things have been on our Thursdays in the park, and looking forward to this one.
Councilmember Sharp?
Thank you, Mayor. 2 things. One, I want to thank the Wage and Salary Committee for dedicating extra time and energy and analysis and study and deep thought. And I really appreciate the transparency and the data that was provided. It's really good, and not just for me, and not just for council, but really anyone in the city that wants to see it and should be able to see it, can see it. Thank you for providing that. And second, when the hailstorm came through my house today, they were small, you could hear it. Hadn't stopped for half an hour, and somebody was knocking at my door saying, "Oh, we're here because of the hail event, and we want to check your house out." And I was like, "Do you have a solicitor's license?" And of course, it was in their car, and I told them to politely said, "No, thank you," and closed the door on them. So just be aware, as always, there's people out there trying to make hay on an unfortunate situation. No damage to the house, so that's it. Thank you.
They're that quick?
I was walking out to my car, come here.
It was.
Someone was waiting for me outside.
Deputy Mayor Resnick.
Thank you, Mayor. I echo the comments in the barn. I had the opportunity to walk around the backside of the trail, and I was a little bit shocked. I thought, whoa, this is eventually going to be a safety hazard too. It probably already is. That's why some of the makeshift tarps and panels went up on it. I'll echo previous council comments on that. I did get a chance to pop over to the FinCamp for their centennial celebration for a few minutes on Saturday, and it was interesting, and what a jewel we have in the city. I hadn't been in there in 30 years, and I forgot what a nice area that is with the clubhouse and the sauna and the lake and then the swimming dock and everything else. So I was thankful that they gave us the invite, and I went in there for a few minutes, and I didn't stay for the cocoa fire because the wind looked pretty big when we left. I hope they did all right with that. Another thing I wanted to mention, the Michigan Airline Trail held their, I think they hold 2 or 3 official events this past Saturday, and I got several negative comments from participants on the shape of the sides of the Wixom portion of the airline trail. All the other portions all the way out to the Clinton River were actually mowed except for Wixom's. And so I got an earful from quite a few of the participants on that event. So I know that's the second year in a row that happened where we weren't mowed in time for one of the Michigan Airline Trail events, but I know we budgeted that extra money for additional help, so I hope we can get that eventually in a regular schedule. Also, 4th of July coming up, please be safe. Many municipalities and associations have official fireworks events, and be safe at home.
Thank you. And I want to congratulate all the employees, Phil and Marilyn, on their work anniversaries, and thank you for your dedication and your service to the citizens of Wixom. And I'm looking forward to Thursday night, the Light the Night. I hope the weather cooperates, and if it continues to be as hot as it is please make sure that you dress appropriate, drink lots of water, not alcohol, and that will save some of the issues too. And I know last week the band was just starting to heat up when the rains came, and it was a really good band, and they were really disappointed that the rains came in that. So hopefully the weather will be better. We'll get through this. And then I was at the FinCamp on Friday night, and they were very pleased that the representatives from the city were coming out to help them celebrate this thing. I got a tour of everything, and they were just so grateful and wanted me to have some of their nice Finnish vodka. And but it was good. It was fun, and it is a jewel. And as I told them, they've been around this city longer than we've been a city, so they're doing great, and for what they do for their national, the residents and everything. It's awesome. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Support. All right, motion and a support to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carries. Very good. Thank you, everybody. Good night.